Welcome to There is a Method to the Madness. My name is Rob Maxwell. I'm an exercise physiologist. The purpose of There is a Method to the Madness is to cut through all the garbage and tell you what you really need to know about improving your health, fitness, and wellness. All right, let me thank Jonathan and Lyn Gildon of the Gildon Group at Realty Pros. They currently have over 275-star reviews on Zillow, and they are consummate professionals. If you would like some help in the real estate department, I will put all of their information in the show notes. All right, so let me talk a little bit today about cadence during your strength set. There's what we call acute program variables when it comes to setting up a workout in strength training, and those things are sets, reps, load, tempo, which is cadence, rest intervals, style, all these cool fancy things. So I'm going to talk today about the old tempo, the old pace at which you should lift. First, let's talk a little bit about science, right? Because that's the method to the madness. What's important? What does the science say? All right, so really the most important thing we can do when strength training is recruit each and every muscle fiber. That's the important thing. So as we approach muscular failure, as we get close to not being able to complete another repetition in the concentric form, then we are getting to muscular failure. And the reason why we're not able to complete another rep is that we have exhausted all of our muscle fibers. In other words, we have recruited all of the individual muscle fibers within a motor unit within a particular muscle. That is a good thing. So if we do that, we are overloading the muscle, and that's how the muscle is going to come back stronger. All right. So how do we get there most effectively? So one of the ways that we manipulate a workout, and again, I mentioned all the ways we can manipulate a workout, is through what we call the tempo, the speed of the repetition itself. Now, many years ago, there was a philosophy. It's still out there, but I don't think it's as used as much as it was. But it was called super slow protocol. I've utilized it. I've tried it before, and it is agonizingly painful. The burn is incredible, which I usually don't mind. But I think what's worse about it is the fact that it's so slow. It's hard to keep the mental focus. I think that's the hardest part, the most painful part to me. And it gets very, very boring. But in any event, what it was something like around a 14-second repetition. 10-second on the concentric, that is the hard part where you're actually shortening the muscle. And then 4 seconds on the eccentric. Typically, it's the opposite of that. Usually the eccentric is longer, and I think super slow had some protocols where that was the case. But in any event, that's a super slow repetition. Now, the thought was that time under load was the most important thing, and that we should try to extend the set beyond a certain time, and that by going slow, we're actually keeping the muscle more loaded and all this kind of stuff. Well, research doesn't really bear that out. All right. Now, the next protocol is the most popular probably, and it's a good middle of the ground protocol. And it's basically a 6-second repetition that we like to teach a lot because it does teach people to keep their reps nice and consistent. And typically that's like a 2-second concentric shortening portion and a 4-second eccentric lengthening portion. And that's fine. That keeps it under control, basically. And then there is basically exploding going as fast as you can. All right, so what does the science say And what does Rob say about the science? All right, so basically, there is something called the forced velocity curve. And the forced velocity curve states that the faster you try to move a load, the harder it's going to be, the heavier it gets. All right. So in other words, if something is 100 pounds, it's going to be a lot harder to move it faster than moving something that's 50 pounds. Kind of makes sense, right? When you think about it that way. So the other side of that says that the reason why that's true is because we're recruiting more fast twitch muscle fibers when we move a little faster. Now, that should probably be the goal, because when we strength train, we're really trying to target those fast twitch muscle fibers. Now, if we're really working through a full set of, say, anywhere from, say, 8 to 15 repetitions and we're hitting fatigue, most likely we are fatiguing both the slow twitch and the fast twitch muscle fibers, so we don't have to worry about that. But we definitely want to try to target the fast twitch muscle fibers. So research actually states that the faster we move a load, the more we're recruiting the fast twitch muscle fibers. So we're always going to recruit in the same order. It's called the size principle. So moving the load faster doesn't mean that we're going to just jump over the slow twitch muscle fiber, because we actually recruit the slow twitch muscle fibers first, whether it be a super heavy load or a light load or a moving fast or moving slow. The size principle states that we're actually moving the same direction as far as twitch fiber go. We're always going to recruit the slow twitch first, then the intermediate fast twitch, and then full fast twitch. But if we move the load faster, we're going to go through that process quicker, all right? And get to the fast twitch muscle fibers a little bit faster in the set, which is a good thing, again, because we want to recruit them and we want to get them to fatigue. And another side of that is, there's an old saying with like speed sprinters and stuff, move slow, go slow. So we do kind of want to emulate some of the motions that we do. All right. So here's what Rob says about all this research. At first, I always teach to go slower, like a 6-second repetition. You can't go wrong with that, really. You can't. Well, you can, but I'll get to that at the end. But you can't go wrong with that when we're trying to teach good form, because form supersedes everything. We have to make sure that we are doing the set correctly. So when the research says fast can be good, they don't mean use momentum. They don't mean throw the weight. They mean go as fast as you can while still maintaining good form. And that's a little bit different for everybody. All right. So you can't go wrong with teaching the 6-second repetition. Now, ordinarily, after I feel like somebody has got that down pretty well, then I do want them to speed up a little bit for 2 reasons. 1, again, we get to the fast twitch muscle fibers faster. 2, a lot of times what I see is people keep their focus a little bit better when they move a little bit quicker. I notice it. They dial in more when they have to go a little bit faster, especially when they're trying to maintain their breathing count as they're doing it, which I recommend that they do. So they keep their focus a little bit better. They maintain their intensity. I honestly think when we move a little too slow, we start to psych ourselves out, because we become more aware of how much things burn or how bored we are, maybe. But I do see that at times when people are moving a little too slowly, they start to lose their focus. So I like them, you, me, to go as fast as we can while maintaining good form. I always believe in taking the eccentric, which is the negative, a little bit slower. Don't fling it down. Still be in control as you're going down. Don't just drop it. Let it go down under your control. And then explosively go up on the concentric, squeezing the muscle and then letting it come down again under your control. Maybe fast, but under your control, not just dropping it and stretching. That's what I like to see. Now, The psychological side of all this, the last part, is that everybody's a little different. And when I have somebody that just cannot maintain good form, as soon as I say pick it up, I slow them back down because I don't want to see anybody flinging the weight. That's not good. So everybody's a little different. So if you followed me around in our gym, you might say, well, Rob, this guy you're saying to go faster, this person you're saying go slower. What are you doing? And it's for that reason. I know them. I know when they're doing their best with their cadence. And then also there is a time to use both indiscriminate of these other issues here. There is a time to say, you know what, we're rehabbing. I want you to go really, really slow here. Let's just be as mindful as we can. And then if we're working on power, we always want to go as fast as we can. Okay? But the brief tip, the take-home message is, Rob says, based on research, his opinion, his experience, that it's best to go as fast as you can, especially on the concentric, the lifting portion, as long as you remain in control and keep good form, focus, squeeze the muscle, which usually works out to be about a 1 or 2 second repetition if you're doing it right. All right? Speaking of doing it right, go to the right chiropractor. Check out chiropractic physician Dr. Doris Antos of Ormond Beach. She's located on Granada Boulevard. She's a consummate professional and a graduate of Port Orange's own Palmer College. I will also put her information in the show notes. All right, that is all for now. Talk soon.